Before we get started tonight, ladies and gentlemen, on the episode of Fast Break here on iSports Radio, I want to introduce you to one of our sponsors, Southern California Sport Warriors Semi-Pro Football Team. The world of semi-pro sports is unlike any other sports organizations. Players pay to play in hosts of so many different outcomes, whether it's playing to get film, to try out for professional teams, big-time colleges, or just trying to play in shape. No matter what, all semi-pro players have one thing in common, and that's playing for the love of the game. The SoCal Warriors have been on quest to earn titles and give players second chances since 2017. Whether you're in Southern California or anywhere in the world, give semi-pro sports a chance if you love your sport. You may get that second chance if you've been waiting for it as an athlete. You can find them on social media, on Twitter at SoCal Warriors, on Instagram at Southern California _Warriors, or on Facebook, Southern California Warriors. Please do give them a follow. Now on to the show. With the Milwaukee Bucks having two clutch plays happen in the last 30 seconds of the game in Game 5, can they seal the deal in Game 6 this upcoming Tuesday? Plus, Wes Unseld Jr. gets hired by the Wizards. What's the future looking like for Washington with him in the helm? That and much more here on Fast Break, live on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all sports, and you're welcome to join us. And join us as you shout tonight, ladies and gentlemen, an epic Game 5 between the Bucks and Suns. When you thought Milwaukee was going to be down for the count early in that first half, and Phoenix probably trying to pull away and probably close the game out, the series out in Milwaukee, the Bucks had other plans. And they came in and just ripped the Suns' heart out of their chest. But D-Lock, how you doing tonight, sir, before we get started?
Everything is pretty good, man. Couple of interesting things did happen. We talked about earlier this week or earlier about the fact that Phoenix looks like they were going to win it. And now how the tables have turned.
Yeah, you mentioned it perfectly. And how the tables have turned, especially, going back to Game 5, how Phoenix was about to blow the Bucks out the water. And, I know people have been kind of crapping on Budenholzer a little bit. But credit to him doing his job, making adjustments, and, trying to, motivate teams like, hey, we're not out of this. We're not dead in the water. We have made comebacks on this team before. In that second quarter, what a great turnaround from them. Coming back, I know they didn't take the lead, going to halftime, but you saw that momentum shift, going to the second half. Like, damn, they might come do the thing and then go up, for a little bit. And then that last quarter, the back and forth and stuff like that. What were your thoughts, D-Lock, when you watched that game from the first half to the second half, what are your thoughts, between the two halves?
Well, I thought that Phoenix were going to come out ready. I definitely expected them to come out playing much better. Especially after the last game, them being at home. I thought this is, we all know that game 5 is probably the most important game of the whole series, especially if it's tied 2-2. So I was expecting Phoenix to be ready. I was really expecting Chris Paul to be like a totally different point guard. I was expecting a lot from him. And obviously we're talking about the NBA Finals, so I was expecting Milwaukee to fight back. I just felt as if, Phoenix was going to get it right at home. Chris Paul was going to be what we see him be over his career. And it just seemed like that just wasn't the case over time. You can see that it slowly started to go into Milwaukee's favor. Now, it was a nail biter. I think not many expected this NBA Finals to be as exciting as it is, because this is one of the few times where we haven't seen a LeBron or Kevin Durant, or Steph Curry in the finals. So, many were thinking this was going to be like a bad series, but this series has been going very well. And I think the game last night is a big eye opener, and I think that made a big turn for Milwaukee. The fact that they're actually going home with a win or a 3-2 lead and 1 win away. This is going to be something that everybody's going to have their eyes on. I mean, I'm pretty sure you remember when we were talking about, should Giannis leave Milwaukee? Is he ever going to win a championship there? And he gets this extension, and he signs the extension, and many people were thinking, well, is he ever going to win one in Milwaukee? And this is an opportunity right now that is about to happen, or it's closer to it, 1 game away. So this is something that's very exciting, man. Like, I was thinking that Giannis would go to like the Lakers or somebody and team up, but it seems like right now he's playing. Like I said, 1 game away. I'm pretty sure he's going to be going crazy this next game to seal the deal.
Yeah, and before I get my thoughts in, I want to shout out to the chat. Shout out to Terry Rodriguez, hardest working man here on IE Sports Radio. Also, shout out to Marcus Los, great, in the chat. So thank y'all too for tuning in. And also, the new lady here on IE Sports Radio, Miss Gina repping the Bay, live in the chat as well. So thank y'all for tuning in. Marcus is saying in the chat, D-Lock, that the Suns are looking like suckers right now. And then, he's also saying no one can question Giannis' leadership. They were dead in the water, and Duck went berserk on the sideline. And since then, they've been on a mission. And then going, let's see. I'm trying to pull it up. And somebody had some interesting comment. Oh, Terrence said, I can't believe the Suns have allowed the Bucks back in the series. One loss away from losing CP3's chance at a ring. Let's bring that into the fold. We talked this before we got on the show about CP3. Say if they do lose Game 6 on Tuesday, do you see a possibility that he can find his way back into the NBA Finals in this late stage of his career?
Well, I think it's possible as long as he continues to play. But the biggest deal for me is I think that this is his best chance right now to get back with the Suns. I think it's going to be very slim. I think that if he do appear in the NBA Finals, it'd have to be in with another team. So I just feel like this is a opportunity right now that you don't want to pass up. So I think that this is the big chance. But to get back, I mean, we know how hard it is to get back, especially when you have the LeBron, the KDs, that's going to continue to be back in the NBA Finals. And it seems like Giannis is starting to emerge as one of the better players as well, or emerge as an NBA Finals. He can take a team to the NBA Finals, as we can see. So not only that, he's on the verge of winning. So I mean, his whole career, like he's done so much. And remember, there was a chance he's going to play with the Lakers, but that got null and void. Told that wasn't going to happen. So I think his best chance is now. I think he can make it, but I don't think it'll be with the Suns. And it's not going to be the same Chris Paul that we kind of know now we've seen in the past. I think it'll be he'll be playing a little bit of a different role with another team if we do see him go back.
I think, before we get to talk about Game 5 again, it's going to be difficult with the West if he decide to stay in Phoenix or whatnot. It's going to be difficult because we know the Lakers ain't going to stay down. They're going to make some changes, some wholesale changes. Golden State, we talked about, I think, a couple weeks ago with the draft lottery and stuff like that. The picks they got, what do they do to kind of transform that roster? They're going to be guys, the team at Washington in offseason. And then you got to watch some of the up-and-comers as well. New Orleans, new coach, Willie Green in the fold. What's going to happen in them? Also, who else I think about? OKC. They got ample picks and stuff like that. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, young up-and-coming guy. Dortz, never a young player I really like watching. And then, Terry brought up the Clippers. If Kawhi comes back, that's still a top 14 in the West. Well, depending on Kawhi's health. That's another subject we'll talk later on. But if he stays in Phoenix, and we're not saying not end on beat all, but it's going to be pretty tough. And also, Denver. I forgot about Denver. Jamal Murray come back for ACL injury. And then going on Jokic, and hopefully Michael Porter will take a leap as well. So, I don't know. It's tough, man. If he feels like, he got to go somewhere else to get that chance, I think you probably be in agreement. We don't blame him. So can he come out, in Game 6 and have the game of his life? I think so. And, just got to play smart and stuff like that and just not screw up. Because he ain't being his best ball right here the past 3 games. And
just like he's been a different, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people say he's looking his age, but it just seems like the past couple of games he's just disappeared. And the biggest thing too that's been really causing issues is the turnovers at the wrong time that he's been forcing, or he's been having, is these turnovers in crucial moments.
Yeah. And then another thing too, they're running to the refs as well. I think, focusing on the game and stuff like that. you know, and going to Devin Booker, talk about him for a little bit. I think if you stop worrying about the refs, worrying about calls and stuff like that, and kind of has focused the game, because in that game 4 they took him out of the game and he won't really focus. Past couple games, he's been on his A game and scoring very, well, but still worrying about the refs and stuff like that. Not focus on, worry about every call and stuff like that. Just play ball. The refs got you. You're lucky you didn't get that 6th foul back on game 4. We damn near tackled, was it Giannis or Drew Holiday going for that layup?
Drew Holiday, I believe, yep.
Like damn, man. They damn near wrapped him up and put on a damn bear hug. But
yeah, you've seen that and you think that it was really, I've seen that and I was like, okay, well, yeah, he's out. But I guess they gave him a pass. I don't know for what reason, but they gave it to him.
But, I think, stop worrying about the refs, play your game, and come out in that game 6 ready to go. Because I don't know how they're going to play matchups in game 6. I know they've been pressuring, Chris Paul full court here the past couple games, so it was kind of like, helped in some. And you're not letting, Chris Paul go loosey-goosey all around the court against you. And shout out to Drew Holiday. D-Lock, when we talk about this man getting traded to from New Orleans to the Bucks for Eric Bledsoe and the picks they gave up, at the time we criticized it like, damn, they should have given up a lot up for Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
And that man, Drew Holiday, the Bucks played right price for that man to be one win away for the NBA championship. That's still on Devin Booker. Like, he just played straight up defense on him. Had him dead, Booker dead in the water. Booker trying to pivot and all that stuff, and Drew just snatched that ball away. And the beautiful thing about it, and that's why I like watching Giannis and stuff like that. When he runs that full court, he runs that full court. Ball, no ball. He fills that lane. If you're a young kid out here watching basketball, watch Giannis play. Ball, no ball. When he runs the lane, he fills the lane. That's when your coaches tell you, fill the lanes. That's what that means. And Giannis ran that, filled that lane. Drew threw the alley-oop perfect. Giannis with his long arms caught it just good enough timing and slammed it down and just sealed the win for that game. And I know you criticize Eric Bledsoe a lot, but they damn sure upgraded from Bledsoe to Holiday, and it's played dividends for him. What are your thoughts on that? On that sequence of plays that's still the oop and the dunk.
Drew Holiday has been played very well. Pelicans is kind of like he was the blame guy for a lot of everything that was going on there. But clearly, the Pelicans look a mess still. So, for me, it's just the fact that Drew Holiday is, he has his days where he's clicking on a lot of his shots and when he's not. But at this moment, he's stepping up in big moments on the defending side. I think this is the reason why we haven't seen Chris Paul be so effective. The thing about it is, I really was expecting to be the other way around, to where Chris Paul was playing exceptionally well, giving Drew Holiday issues, and it hasn't been that way. Even when it comes to, keeping Devin Booker from catching fire for sometimes, you'll see either PJ Tucker or Drew Holiday on him. So it just seems like now this team looks like they have a little bit more trust in Drew Holiday than what they had with Bledsoe, getting more from him. So for me, I just like the connection that they're having, those three, and Drew Holiday, Middleton, and Giannis. Giannis is putting everything down. He's making every dunk, basically. So you catch, like you said, he's running the court. So, you see him coming through, down the court. You coming down, you better off moving out the way. I don't know if you really want to take that charge. Hell, you seen Torrey Craig take that charge early in the series, and we barely see him in the game that much. So, but yeah, Drew Holiday has played very, very huge for them. My thing is, like, if they do win this, like, how long can this three, work? Like, can they keep this chemistry for a while? Because remember, they were making moves last year. Well, they were the best team in the East last year. And now they're still in a similar situation, except this time they're actually in the finals, one game away. So Drew Holiday's came up big. He's made a couple clutch shots when they needed. I think that's what they needed that they weren't getting from Bledsoe.
Yeah. I think, for Bledsoe, it's just like when the Milwaukee needed him the most, he didn't come through. Not, if you're not having a great shooting day, it is what it is. But, you're not doing everything like defensively and stuff like that. Things of that nature. And you pay him all this money to produce like that, but he's not giving you nothing. And, they feel like, they had to do the upgrade and, to get Holiday from New Orleans after, they started having their fire sale, in a sense. We thought, okay, can this dude take him over the hump? Yeah, he's pretty solid and stuff like that, defensively and stuff like that. Taller than Bledsoe. A little bit better for shooter. But can he take him over the hump? And he took him over the hump. He took him over the hump. Now, can they finish it off in Game 6? We shall see. But what things are you looking forward to in Game 6? What do you think Phoenix got to do to kind of take it back to the desert to kind of force a Game 7?
Well, I think Chris Paul has to be more effective. But also, another person that we haven't seen too much, a little bit, but he's been effective when he gets on the court is Cameron Payne. I would like to see him get more minutes as well. Because it's kind of like, Chris Paul is he was mentioning in the last series how he was more so of, a slow pace. The guys were trying to get him to be around, fast pace player. But the thing about this is what you realize over time, this series is Phoenix going to slow pace plays in the hands of Milwaukee's defense. So I think that they got to pick the pace up. Mikal Bridges has to do something. Like, he shows up one game and then he sleeps the next game.
Yep, I definitely
he's a
agree.
statue in the next game. Say it again.
I definitely agree with you on Bridges. I don't know where he's at.
Yeah, it's just like he's shows up one day and then he's nowhere near to be found another day. So, Jay Crowder has been playing excellent. I mean, I think I think his offensive game is taken away from his defense a little bit. So I think, but also, it's kind of like this team doesn't know what to do with Giannis. Like he's a bull in a china shop right now. He's wrecking everything up. So they need to build a wall. They need to game plan to slow him down, but because clearly, he's the engine that keeps them rolling. But I would really like to see Chris Paul get going. Him and Bridges, it's just like they're just out there. And it's more so now, and also it's like Milwaukee can't blow this. They're going home. All they need is one more game. They don't blow this game. Don't blow this. But for me, I feel like Chris Paul has to be more effective. Like I said, the pace needs to speed up. So when they need to have fast pace, do they need to take Chris Paul off the court? Possibly. The campaign needs to get a little bit more involved as well. It just seems like right now, the slow pace that they play or they start to get to play, they're falling, like I said earlier, they're falling into Milwaukee's hands. And to be honest, that's kind of what Milwaukee wants. They slow pace on the defending side. But it just, like on the offensive side, unless you, like I said, you have to find a way to slow Giannis down. He's going to get to the line. But you get all these other guys going, now you're really in some trouble. I don't think this next game is going to be a blowout. I think this next game is going to be somewhat pretty close. But it's going to come down to just a few couple plays. And as I said before we got onto the show, it's a few turnovers that has caused this game to end or caused the Suns to lose. So the one we just seen with Devin Booker, Drew Holiday, and then was it game 4 where Chris Paul is dribbling down the court and he just like stumbles over his foot or something, like he slipped on a banana peel or something like that, and just lost the ball. So those couple plays play a huge part. So I expect for things to be quick and be efficient and kind of be more disciplined, because these little mistakes Milwaukee is capitalizing on.
Yeah. And I want to shout out to the chat again. And I want to welcome everybody to Stephen Copeland. I hope I said that last name right. Or Copeland. He is our host of our new Wisconsin show here on the network on iSports Radio. He'll be hosting on Tuesday nights at 8 Central Time, Locked On Wisconsin. So please do check him out here on iSports Radio every Tuesday night. Pretty sure he'll be talking about Packers come up here in training camp, the Milwaukee Bucks, if they do close out. Well, he'll probably be previewing before they potentially close out on Tuesday. All that stuff, Wisconsin football. So all your Wisconsin needs, Mr. Copeland will take care of you. So thank you for tuning in with us tonight, sir. I greatly appreciate it. We greatly appreciate it here. I'll take the Milwaukee side and see, and for them, like you mentioned about Drew Holiday, there's some games he shoots the ball well, but I think the positive, like we said before, he does everything to kind of make himself stay in the game. But if he come in shooting well, passing the ball very well like he did past game 5, 13 assists and stuff like that, I think, they'll go along for them. Giannis, just be Giannis. Like you mentioned, he's put the team on his back and has been playing very well. Middleton, I think that's one thing Phoenix got to worry about. at these home games, Middleton has been playing very, very well in his finals.
Right.
So, you know, and I know these two teams have shortened their rotations up. So, Jay Crowder, Cam Johnson, Miles Bridges, even Torian Craig, if they get out there, they got to defend these wing guys pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And like you mentioned,
but at this point, it's one game left, so
yep.
For them, that's do or die.
And so if you're triple headed monster between Giannis and Middleton and Holiday, do what they got to do, and then you get solid contributions from Tucker and Brook Lopez and Connaughton, I think you can do great things. And then kind of and slow down Booker like you did back in game 3, I believe. If you shut him down, I think you'd be looking pretty good. Unless, what happened in game 2, you trying to shut down Ayton, but those other role players kind of stepped up. That's the only thing you kind of got to watch out for, like Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, catching hot. But before we move forward, who you got winning game 6?
Ooh, boy. Man. So this is who I got, but not who I want to win. That's the question. Man. I think Milwaukee's going to win game 6. Right now they're clicking on all cylinders. Phoenix has lost 3 games in a row. We haven't seen the same Chris Paul. He's kind of decelerating in the sense that he's not looking the same. They're not slowing down Giannis right now. And hell, even when they start to do that, you're starting to see Drew Holiday just like look like the perfect, player they needed. So with that stadium rocking, that gym rocking like that, with the last game on the line, man. Yeah, man. I think the Bucks are gonna win. I think they're gonna close it out. I think Giannis is gonna go for over 40 points and he's gonna have the MVP trophy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bucks as well. I think I don't think I can see why Phoenix wins if Chris Paul has a game similar like he did when they closed out the Clippers in game 6 back in the Western Conference Finals. If he has that type of game when he's just scoring at will, then I give the edge to Phoenix there. But I just think what Drew Holiday did, the snatching the soul like that, and Giannis yamming it down, I think
in Phoenix.
in Phoenix. And they were hopping that crowd up. They were showing that the fool, the money, which I'm kind of surprised he didn't get robbed right there and there. But, they just snatched the soul out of that arena. And like you mentioned, going back home. And we seen the footage of the crowd outside the arena and stuff like that. It's been packed full all throughout the playoffs. And to have that outside rocking, have the inside rocking, drinking all the I hope Steve's still in the chat. What's the beer out in Milwaukee? Is it Miller?
It's not. Yeah, it might be. Yeah, either that or Brews. I think I can't even think what the top of it. I know what you're talking about though.
And them hyped up on and liquored up on Miller Lite. Man, I gotta get that to Milwaukee.
Yeah, I just every time that Giannis throws something down, that crowd is gonna go crazy. So ooh, it's gonna be interesting. And I just for me to see them lose. I mean, now you gotta think about this. They get a chance to actually win at home and have the post game, the trophy presentation, all this stuff. They get to have that at home. So this is all up for grabs right now. So I had thought about something, and it might go off a little bit, but I wanted to ask and everybody listen and see what they think. So let's say that Giannis gets it done, but Giannis in Milwaukee gets it done Tuesday.
Yep.
How does like this impact Ben Simmons? And I say that because Ben Simmons just had we talked about Ben Simmons as far as the postseason, as far as not taking shots, as far as not being able to shoot. But Giannis cannot shoot either. He takes a lot more shots. But I'm saying, how does this impact Ben Simmons by saying that? Could you somewhat put a team around Ben Simmons? I mean, he's not a Giannis, but a very similar player. Could you somewhat build around him? Because, Giannis is the focal point of this team, right? We know that this team goes as far as Giannis takes them. But he's so much of a defensive presence that his defense, overshadows his offense. Every time Giannis scores, he's in the paint, right?
Yep.
He's grabbing boards. So how does this really impact like a Ben Simmons type play or Ben Simmons? Can the team? I told you, how I thought about Orlando going after Ben Simmons. I say you go get Ben Simmons, you build around him. Could a team build around a Ben Simmons? And what we're seeing now in Milwaukee is working. It's working for them. Brook Lopez is not a top 5 center. PJ Tucker is a defender. Chris Middleton is one of the better shooters in the league. Drew Holiday is a solid defender that can shoot. Can you keep that same mold and put it around a Ben Simmons?
I think you can. But I think one thing about Giannis and one thing about Ben Simmons, I think the one thing you can differentiate from each other for the both of them, Giannis has that drive, that want to. He has that want to compared to Ben Simmons. Let's get real about Ben Simmons. This dude more worried about playing games on Twitch, talking to girls through Instagram, whatever. Mess around. I don't know. He dating the Jenner girl or not, or he got some girl that looked just like her, and stuff like that. That's where his head is at. With Giannis, some of y'all don't know about the Giannis backstory. He has a lot of siblings that they come up with the best stuff, in Greece. And, when he got into the league, wherever money he got, he sent over back to his family and whatnot. He has a drive to kind of not only work hard for himself, but work hard for others. You know, if I'm not playing my best, then everybody else is not playing their best. You know, and that's what you got one takeaway from that from Giannis and Ben Simmons. Yes, I agree with you. They play the same type of style. And I think, you know, and Ben Simmons is the way better ball handler than Giannis. He can take you off the dribble very, very easily with his size. But it's just like, does Ben Simmons want that? Does that have that want to? Like we've seen with past superstars like a Giannis, like a LeBron, like a Kobe, Jordan, you know, others. You gotta have that want to. And you know, and not everybody.
That was just something that clicked. Go ahead.
And not and let's be honest, and not just the NBA, but in sports, not everybody has that want to, in a sense.
Yeah.
You know? In the NFL, if some of y'all don't know, I'm a Titans fan. Derrick Henry has that want to. I seen videos of him working out every day, lifting weights, doing different drills. He's not just selling. He has that want to. With your Tampa Bay Bucks,
yeah,
Brady at his age, mid-40s, still has that want to. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. But I know that was kind of a hell right now. Ben Simmons is like a laughing thing right now. But I mean, if you just look at what Milwaukee's doing, I mean, to be honest, I feel like Phoenix Suns have a lot of shooters. They have very good defense. I think I was saying earlier that I had Phoenix winning it all. But it just seemed like Giannis with this, like you said, a want to, with the Drew Holiday, with the Chris Middleton, with the Brook Lopez, the PJ Tucker, the defenders. Then Bryn Ford coming off the bench. You know, he has his brother there who get in a little bit. But he, like, the way he plays is like he's not an impressive shooter. You know, that's not his game. So he's that defender that, the team rallies around him. Like, look at the block he did between Booker and Eighth.
Yep.
That block probably sent shots around that whole bench, So that impact is huge. So I'm just looking at it. I'm like, damn, you know what? Can Ben, like, could I really get it if I had the chance? Could I build around Ben Simmons the same way with Giannis? Because Giannis ain't sitting there shooting a lot of perimeter shots. He's shooting threes, but we already jokingly say, why the hell is he shooting that three? They're counting down his free throws, how long it's taking him, and he's not that impressive at the free throw line. He's doing things similar than Ben Simmons. The difference is he's taking the shots, the risk, and Ben Simmons kind of scared to do it. But I'm just, damn. It's just like we're looking at a player right now, and Ben Simmons has been an all-star, has been on a all defensive team. So can I put him? Could that work for another team? That's just something that kind of triggered in my mind, sitting there thinking about it. Like, damn, okay. If Milwaukee has this chemistry working for them, one game away, from being NBA champs. Could I do the same thing with Ben Simmons? So it's just something to really think about. I mean, we're used to seeing what we've seen in the past, LeBron or the Kevin Durant, the Steph Curry. You got the teams that need the shooters, or the teams that need all these different guys around them. Hell, the Spurs had who they had with Pop and Kawhi. It just right now you're looking at Milwaukee, and it's like, well, damn, I got a player very similar to Giannis. Now we know what Giannis is. But we have a player that is known for his defense and not for his shooting. Is what I'm saying to Ben Simmons. But as you said, it's about the want. So do you want to do this? How, the want to be great. All the other things going on, you got to push that to the side and want to be great. So, yeah, man, it's just, and the reason why I said this is because we are talking about Ben Simmons being the fact that I think he's going to be traded. He's going to be out of Philly at some point.
Yeah. And to put a bow on Ben Simmons, and hell, maybe come like next week, probably talk about him more. But this guy had that want to. I know, and Terry, saying in the chat that, nobody cares about the Kardashians and Jenners. I don't care about them either, but you can't front. They do have an influence. They have had a long influence on pop culture and society the past 15 years. I mean, all the daughters, they have dated multiple pro athletes, and has been an influence. If you give it them, you get clout, you get name recognition that you probably wouldn't got before. I know in this what we do in this podcast and we talk about in sports, yes, we know what Devin Booker from his time from Kentucky, prep school, preps, Kentucky up to now. But other folks probably didn't know Devin Booker like that until he dated one of the Jenner girls.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's great to see Devin Booker on his A game focused, and trying to win his, his first championship in his young career. But, you can't deny it. This me. You just can't deny the influence. I've seen women on Instagram and stuff like that saying Kim Kardashian is a role model. Not my saying that's theirs. There's their cup of tea. It is what it is. But D-Lock, before we get out of here, I do want to bring up the Wes Unseld hiring. I know he's in the same division as your Orlando Magic. Y'all recently just had a new head coach as well. What are your thoughts of Wes Unseld getting hired by the Wizards?
Great move. And we said you mentioned it earlier. I'm liking the fact that a lot of African American coaches are getting these opportunities. My biggest deal was the fact that I want them to be in a situation where they actually get a chance to be great. Yes, and I said great, not good. Usually, people hear the word. Somebody say just want to be good. Now we want to be great. We want to have that opportunity to be great, to be a great coach. And that takes years and years to do that. So I have to do more research on the Wizards franchise to see how they operate. And I know how the Magic operate, being the fact that we fire coaches every couple of years. But I feel like that was a very good hire. I mean, you know what Denver Nuggets have been doing for years. They got the current MVP right now in Jokic, who is a very, hell of a player. They kind of pretty much did what he can without Jamal Murray, if you ask me. He was back in Washington back in 2005. So I think that he is a very good piece, but it's just about, what is this team going to, or this front office and this team is going to do to help him be successful. Usually a coach being put on a short leash as far as having 1 or 2 years to coach is not the route to success in my eyes. So now he does have the pieces. The question is, what happens to Russ? Does Russ get traded again? What happens with Bradley Beal? I like I don't know how much you like their roster, but hell, I like the Wizards roster. I really like their roster. I mean, with Rush, you don't like it? I mean, we got some time. If I really looked at a couple of guys, that they can remember now. We are talking about them being on the East. I mean, there's a couple people that they can possibly like replace or trade, but let me see the Wizards roster. I mean, you're looking at Russ, you're looking at Bradley Beal, Houchamar, Gafford, Davis Bertans. I like Chandler Hutchison. So they have like some pieces and Thomas Brown, he come back. They got some pieces that I wouldn't mind, like, if you can kind of build around. Now, obviously, there's that one person that's going to try to play street ball every time he get on the court. But, I mean, I like Daniel Gafford. Hachimura, I kind of like him, but not at the 4. But I just feel like it depends on what the Wizards want to do as far as being successful. Did you just hire him just for the moment, or is this going to be a guy that you're going to give a chance to be great?
You mentioned about the coaches, minus Rick Carlisle, all the black head coaches that have been hired, and shout out to Willie Green, and we'll talk about more about him maybe next week to see what he can do with that team with Zion and stuff like that. But for me, for Wes Unseld and these other coaches that have been hired, they've been putting the legwork for years to get this opportunity. We're talking about Ucoda, McBride out under Pop for years and with the Philly, then with the Brooklyn. Now he's got a chance in Boston to do his thing with a couple of young pieces in Tatum and Brown to do some things. Wes Unseld in Washington. I'm not a big fan of this roster. I'm sorry. I just think they maxed out. You kind of just swapped Wall for Westbrook, and you didn't do nothing. You didn't do better record-wise, and you barely got into the playoffs. I just think this roster. I say in the past, you kind of due for a blow up, and the Wizards are kind of due for a blow up. They're playing Bertans, $16 million a year, and he just shoot threes, but half the time he don't shoot well in games and stuff like that. So I don't know. Do you go with him for a year with this same roster, add your moves, what you got to add? But if things don't get better, you got to say to him, like, hey, we'll just blow it up, rebuild, and then go about that way. This just me. And then who else got hired around? Like I said, Mitch Miller Green, Orlando. They got their new coach. We talked about him. I feel like I'm missing somebody. Chauncey Billups out in Portland.
Jason Kidd, too.
Yeah, Jason Kidd. And the hot mess that Dallas seems to be under right now. Can he be that buffer? Can Jason Kidd be that buffer between Luka and whoever Mark Cuban is cool with at the moment, bringing to have a job? And then, like I said, and Chauncey, I like the Chauncey hire. We'll see what happens with Damian Lillard in his future. This report saying
they trade him.
Man, you got to give. If I was Damian Lillard, you got to give Chauncey a year. give Chauncey a year, and then if things don't go right or whatever, or you just need to change, then bounce. But give Chauncey a year.
Yeah. But man, I don't know if they can get rid of Dane time.
I'm just give Chauncey a chance.
Yeah, I agree. But you ought to know if he already. Do you remember when he was talking about how he would? Oh, remember he was saying, "Oh, I wouldn't go anywhere else. I'll be loyal to my team and blah blah blah." Now you want to go somewhere else?
Shit. I hate to cuss on the show, but after a while, man, I'm like, ooh, boy,
Yeah, that sounds good a couple of years ago. now you ready to dip?
Like, after a while, you know, you stuck in Portland in the rain all the time, wherever gloomy. You got bounced out the first round, and you damn near did everything to keep your team in series.
You know what didn't help, right? He messed around and shot that movie with LeBron and AD, so you know they was out hanging out. You don't know what they was talking about.
Yep.
Now you want to go, so it's gonna be interesting. But I agree with you. I think he should give Chauncey Billups a chance, man. I mean, to dip, it'd be kind of tough to do that.
But he's going to be another person to watch out in the offseason. So we'll see about that. So, you know, we'll see what happens with Lillard. I know next week I like to talk more in depth about Willie Green getting hired in New Orleans and see how he's going to do about that job. But we'll discuss that more next week along with the NBA Finals. If the the series should wrap up by the next time we join y'all live next Sunday. But this has been our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in with us. D-Lock, how can people find you on social media?
You guys can definitely find me at Black-813. Football is coming up soon, but still we got last couple games coming up, and then we got NBA draft, which I'm hoping my Magic do something. So best believe I'll be tweeting like crazy about what we're gonna do. So Black-813, follow me there. Get ready for Game 6. Let them know where they can find you at, man.
You can find me on Twitter at Spawn4288. That is Spawn4288. Also, please do follow us on Twitter at FastBreak@IESR. That is FastBreak@IESR. Also, check us out. Check out iSportsRadio.com. A lot of new shows coming to the network. So if you're not following us online and also through social media, through Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you always get up to date with the new shows popping in through the network. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I also do another podcast on the side named The Crooks Process. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook on that. So do follow me on there. We'll be back here next week. Talk about whoever the champion may be in the NBA Finals. Talk about Willie Green and Pelican hire. Also, prepping for the draft. Who goes number 1 overall? That and much more. But thank you for tuning in with this, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll talk to y'all next week. We're out.
We're out.